Hi everyone, Stepan here, playing crazy again. I'm gonna go d4. Let me just adjust this a bit, it doesn't seem right. Sorry about this. Whoa. Okay, it should be okay now. What did he play last time? I think he played the Benoni. So I'm going to go knight f3 and try to get him out of his comfort zone. So I'm leading him 2.5, 1.5. He said good luck. I'm gonna say good luck back. Okay, he plays d5. Now, what do I do? If I go for the London, he still has those queen b6 lines, so I think I'm going to play g3, which is something I normally don't do. But we're gonna go into a sort of Catalan position, close Catalan. Why bishop d6? I'm not too familiar with that. I could actually play a double fianchetto here, avoiding the early c4, avoiding the lines where he takes on c4. So I'm gonna go for something weird. He wants to go e5. I'm going to go b3 and bishop b2 and c4 and try to play a double fianchetto setup. This is something I've been working on recently, playing these weird non-theoretical double fianchetto d4 openings. It's not the most precise way to play, but if you manage to get in e4 and break the center, then your bishops become extremely active, and it's indirectly playing against c5. So we will see what happens. Okay, what does this mean? I'll just go bishop b2. If he goes e5, then takes. Yeah, it seems fine. I'm supporting e5. Okay. So if I go a4 and c4, that doesn't seem too good. And if I go a4, he gets the b4 square. If I go c4, he's gonna go a4. So I think I play for e4 instead. So I'm gonna go a4, preventing any expansion, giving away the b4 square, and maybe claiming the b5 square because he'd given it away. So now I have ideas of knight a3, knight b5. I'm just trying to play against the move a5. It's harder for him to control b5 because he has to move the knight, and I can easily control b4 with c3. What does this do? He's preventing knight c3, but not knight a3. So I'm gonna go knight a3. Does he want to go f5? That's the question. If he goes f5, so knight a3, f5, how does that look? Well, that gives away e5 for good, and it seems okay. Now I'm not sure he should take on a3, or I'm sure he shouldn't. And if the bishop ends up on e7 and the knight moves away from c6, I get e5 for free. So I'm thinking f5 wouldn't be a good idea here. Now I still want to go c4. So my knight supports that, and the position seems pleasant enough. If I go knight b5, I'm also covering c3, so bishop b4 can be met with knight b5, c3. I know that this is a weird opening. I don't think it has a name. It's just a double fianchetto, and you play chess. This is something I've been preparing for lower rated players to avoid theory and to have a solid playable position. It's actually something that Magnus Carlsen did in the rapid thing they had online recently. I think it's a good idea. It's a playable position. Knight a3 just exploits the fact that he played knight c6 and a5, so shouldn't come as a big surprise. His bishop on c8 is his biggest problem, especially if he plays f5. Then that bishop is going to have to go to a6. And when it does, I'm not sure if I should be worried about e2 that much, because I can always go knight b5. I bet he is weighing the consequences of f5. I'm not sure it would be a good idea. Now, I want to get in c4, that's my pawn break, or e4, but e4 seems harder to play. So I'm thinking c4 followed by cd, or if he takes dc, then I take with the knight or with the b pawn. I'm not sure yet. But I'm not going to go c4 before I seriously consider whether I need to control b4 or not. This is actually a very interesting strategic battle now. He's spending quite a lot of time. e5 doesn't work. b6 seems fairly loose. Rook e8 doesn't do anything, although it gives him the option to play bishop f8 after knight b5. I'm not sure what else he could be considering here. So rook e8, b6, f5, knight b4, bishop b4, knight g5 maybe, although I don't think that's good. I don't know. But we will see. Okay. He wants to go c6, covering the b5 square. So I'm gonna go knight b5 now. He moves the bishop and then prepares c6. And if I go c3, his knight is going to end up on a6 because he wants to go c6. But I think I'm gonna go knight b5. And maybe on bishop e7 I go c4, knight c3. Although that gives away b4 for good. But I'm gonna have to go c4 at some point, because I need to open up my b2 bishop. Okay. So c3, knight a6. Or maybe c4. If c4, c6, knight c3, bishop c3, dc4, bc4, seems like a big center, but I'm not sure I should be giving away all the squares so lightly. I think I'm gonna go for e4. I think I'm gonna go knight d2, and on c6 I'm gonna take on e4, and on knight d2, queen d2, c6 I go knight c3, and I have a knight preparing e4. So I'm gonna do that. That seems interesting. And if he goes f5, I think I'm gonna go c4. He did go f5. So now c4. If c6, knight c3, or knight a3, maybe I can go for f3, e4. But maybe I throw in c3 first. Okay, I'm gonna throw in c3. I want to chase this knight away from my position. And then I will consider f3 followed by c4, or just c4. Okay, now if I go f3, the knight probably ends up on f6, or takes on d2. If it takes on d2, queen takes d2, and I have enough guys to support the pawn break. Is there any downside to f3? He's gonna go c6. Okay, I'm going f3. I want to get rid of this knight. If he takes and goes bishop g5, I think I just go queen c2. Okay, he doesn't trade. Now I don't mind him taking, to be honest. So do I go e4 now? Or queen c2 first? I think I go queen c2 first. And then e4. Because if he takes, his knight doesn't really have a square. It would have to go to b8, which is a dreadful square. So now I take on d6 and go e4. What could go wrong? I don't want to go c4. So I'm taking. And I'm going e4. Takes with the c pawn. Okay, that's interesting. That makes e4 stronger, I feel. Because it gives me a good pawn structure. And it also gives me a target on d6 and the great square for my bishop on a3. He wants to play b5. I feel like my position is great after c takes d6. I think he should have taken with the bishop. Okay. Now when I play bishop takes e4, I'm on the b pawn and I'm on the h pawn. This doesn't seem good. I feel like I'm very close to winning now. It doesn't matter whether he trades rooks or not. b5 is now unplayable after taking because my bishop will be on the rook. Okay, that's a free pawn, so I'm gonna take it. He doesn't have time for ED. Okay, knight takes. That's playable. What does he play on bishop e4? He wants to play knight e3. So I'm gonna go bishop e4. He's gonna take on f1, I'm gonna take with the knight, covering the e3 square. If he plays g6, I'm just taking. On knight c3, I believe I have queen c2, rook c1. Or maybe even bishop h7. To be honest, I don't actually mind him taking the c3 pawn. It makes my bishop much better. Okay. Chooses knight f6. So, rook f6. If bishop f6, bishop h7, king h8, queen g6 seems good to me, followed by queen h5. So he probably has to take on f6 with the rook. So rook f6, bishop h7, king h8. No, I don't give up my bishop just yet. I'm gonna prepare the sacrifice. If he goes d5, I have knight f3, knight e5. And after queen c2, I may also go knight e4 to just get rid of the defender. Okay. So what about knight e4 now? Okay, I'm gonna go knight e4. I like knight e4. If he takes, I think I'm taking on f8 first. How do I double my rooks and defend the e3 square at the same time? Or how do I connect my rooks? I'm gonna go queen a2 because it's weird and it gives me this discovery. And it doesn't run into ed. And it allows rook takes f1. I'm gonna try to use the pin on the d-pawn. Bishop e6, he still cannot take my knight. And this way I have knight c5 without losing a pawn. Okay, I'm gonna go knight c5. Even though he couldn't take my knight, I'm gonna grab the bishop pair if I can. He's gonna go e4. He didn't go e4. Why didn't he go e4? Because now he cannot go rook e7, because I go rook f8. Okay. Does rook e1 win a pawn? That's the question. I think it does. So I take, he takes my rook on a1, I take the rook on e8. Does that work? It seems to work. Now, is there any reason to play rook e6 followed by queen d5? Or do I just take the knight? No, I'm just gonna take the knight. Now he wants to move the bishop and take the rook on e5 and take the pawn on c5. Queen e1 preventing queen a4. He can take on a4. Okay. It's all about attacking. So I want my bishop on e5. When it's opposite colored bishops, whoever is attacking has the advantage. I have to get my queen to g5. I'm trying to lure his bishop away to e4. Of course, if we trade queens, it's gonna be a draw. So I don't want that. And I want a passed pawn, if I can get one. I'm trying to get my queen to f4. Oof! No! No, 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 no! Why did I do that? No, why did I think f8 was covered? Okay, I'm resigning. For some reason I thought f8 was covered. Oh. I just thought this was mate. Oh, I played this so badly. I'm not even gonna analyze it now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.